Oh my gosh, it's so warm. Let me not complain because we all know this British weather is something else. Once again, teacher series. For all my fellow teachers out there, especially the young ones who were just new to the game, trying to find our way through this thing called education or teaching. This video, checking my notes. It's all about student engagement, how to keep kids engaged in your lesson. I'm not a guru. It's not like I know everything, but these are just something. I'm still working on it, still learning, but maybe some things that I can share with you to help you make sure your students are engaged in their lessons and in your lessons, and it kind of avoids disruptive behavior a little bit. So I think short activities are best. Short activities like quick bursts, you know, okay, 10 minutes you do this, 10 minutes you do that, because then it changes things up for the kids. It's not like a routine. Switch it up, make the lesson a bit more interesting. So I don't know, maybe the first 5 minutes they might have to, you know, as a starter, unscramble these letters to find out a key word. They can do it in pairs or make it a competition. The first person to get all 5 right gets a reward or something like that. Another activity, a class discussion, and then from there, because they're actually thinking and saying these things themselves, they can write down their own notes. One thing that I find, then again, just to reiterate, I teach science, so I don't know how it is in other subjects. It might be a bit different, but when it comes to things like ethics, heart transplants and cancer or puberty or whatever, there are a lot of things that you can have discussions about. And when you have discussions, the kids can literally learn from each other. So it's not even like a teacher-led lesson, it's a student-led lesson, which means the students will stay engaged. I think last week or a couple of weeks ago, I was teaching a year 10 class. Actually, no, they're like year 9s, year 10s. Like I said, I work in a pro, so it's a bit different. We were talking about the structure of an atom, electrons, neutrons, protons, and the kids started having an argument about where electrons are. Nah, but electrons aren't there. I'm just like, wait, these kids are actually having a full-blown argument saying who's right about the structure of an atom and who's not. If I could get them to argue about the work every day, I'd prefer that than them talking about rubbish that's going on outside school. It was quite interesting to see how competitive they are to say, hold on, I know this, you don't know it, let me correct you on the structure of an atom. You don't. That's not normal. When we have debates about heart transplants and, you know, should certain people get certain a heart transplant and stuff, people, they have things to say. They really do, and it's quite interesting to hear their point of view. You get to know the students a bit better, their thought process. So definitely debates and discussions are good. A couple of worksheets here and there to assess what they've been learning, that could help as well. As a plenary, they could definitely write down what they've learned that lesson to actually see if they've learned anything or they can share with you. Or a Q&A, quick burst of questions to say, you know, and you can kind of differentiate the questions. Okay, let's just say for a year 9 class, I don't know, what are the 2 types of eukaryotic cells or something? So for low ability, it might be a plant and animal cell. Okay, what are the different components in them that can be a middle ability? For a higher ability, how does this compare this to a prokaryotic cell? I don't know. It's just little things like that. And when you have to compare and contrast and whatever, that's actually extending. They actually have to explain and describe and all of that. Show videos, because not everything you might be able to do as a practical. I know it's quite difficult sometimes, especially for me, physics. There are some physics topics that I can't do a practical for. So maybe if I show the kids a video, it might get them a bit interested and like, oh wow, I never knew that, or what's that? You know, they might want to research it on YouTube for themselves when they go home. We were doing a topic on who committed a crime using different separation techniques like filtration, chromatography and so on. And the kids have to literally get all the evidence we've done throughout the topic and decide whether a certain guy was guilty of committing a crime or not. And I had like the prosecution or whatever, the defendants, and because it was an observation lesson, I actually used the head teacher to be the judge. He had to decide who won the case or whatever. Not only did the kids use previous learning, things they had, and previous knowledge, sorry, they were able to actually put that in their evidence to state their points, having a big full-blown argument that I had to kind of mediate a little bit because they got a bit too excited. But they articulated themselves well, They listened to each other, they came up with very good points, and I even got the person who was observing me to take part in the lessons. Make posters as well. It's all right. It's, you know, maybe when you finish a topic and the kids understand it, it's all right for them to make a poster about what they had been learning, just to let them be a bit creative in that sense. I had a student who didn't want to make a poster. He said, "Miss, I'm going to go to DT and make a structure, the DNA structure." And he came back and I was just like, whoa, I didn't expect that. But it was very nice to see him being creative, not to do a poster but to do like an actual, I don't know what you call it, but it was the structure of DNA. My thing, especially when I was in mainstream, is doing raps. I'm not a rapper, I'm not a singer, but the kids love it, and it's a way to like keep them engaged. You'll be like, "Oh, Miss, can we use this Drake beat, or can we use that?" I don't know. Use whatever beat you want, but your topic has to be based, I mean, whatever you rap about has to be based on a topic we've learned. And it helps me with revision. I remember working in one of my old schools, and it was a year 8 end of year exam. And one of the students in my class, what he had done, luckily enough, the question was about the reactivity series, and we had done a rap together as a class about it using is it Western Into. We used their beat and we made a rap as a class. The kids actually wrote out the whole rap about how different metals react in terms of which one is the most reactive, the least reactive, and whether they react with water or acid. He actually wrote out the whole rap we did as a class, and it helped him with his answer. Not saying he got full marks, but I think it was a 6-mark question. So out of 6 marks, he got maybe 4. But it's the fact that that rap that we did in class happened to help him in the exam, and I was very happy to see that. Because I was just sitting there like, why is he scribbling all on the side? And I was like, oh, he wrote the rap. So that kind of helped. Being a bit creative, adding music to your lesson, letting kids have creative freedom to make a rap about whatever topic you've taught them. And I used to do like a pub quiz. So every Friday, whatever we've learnt during the week, I would have a pub quiz. So from September to December, you're in a team. From January to April, you're in a team. And then from April to July, yes, you're in a team. So different teams every term. I will give them a quiz at the end of every week, every Friday. And the team that gets the most points at the end of term, I will get them a prize. So what I did, I think the first one, December for Christmas, they got a cinema gift card. April, they got an Amazon gift card. And summertime, when we broke up, they got a JD gift card. It was just something, just as an incentive. And the kids were doing very well academically, maybe because they knew we need to win. So yeah, it just gets the kids into the mentality that, okay, Miss is going to test us on this, so we need to know our stuff for one. So we need to revise, we need to learn, we need to work as a team. And you put kids in different teams based on their strengths, their abilities, and then they might not be in groups that they would normally be in, you know, if they're with their friends. So it's good to mix it up. Make friends outside of your circle, work together as a team. So you're building up different skills, social skills, team working skills, or team building, and everyone has their own different strengths. Always be willing to like listen to what they say. The answer might not always be right, but at least they're trying, okay? So those are my tips for student engagement. It kind of stops the kids from being disruptive. I found that doing the pub quiz with my year 8 definitely stopped them from being disruptive, because they wanted to do well. Whenever they were, if anyone in their group didn't do their homework or hand it in on time, I deducted a point off. So it's like, okay, but you guys are working as a team. Be accountable to each other to make sure your homework is done on time, your classwork is done to a good standard, you're all learning and revising, because you know that if you do well in this rap, that adds to your team points. If you do well to in your group competitions and your behaviour is good, you're going to get a reward. I hope this kind of helps someone. Remember what I said, rap battles, posters, short bursts of activities, debates, discussions, pub quiz, just a whole bunch of different things you can do with the kids to keep them engaged.